How to help my partner who is a bad sleeper. Okay, well, some of these we will definitely address, and hopefully all of you will be leaving with at least one tool, one extra tool in your tool belt. Okay, let's see who else is here. Those of you who are coming, who just arrived, maybe you can rename yourself to write where you're calling in from. And if you can't find the rename button, you can just write in the chat. We have Portugal here as well. Great. Anyone from Croatia, my home country? Okay. Steve, I think we're on time.
That we are, perfect timing. So welcome everyone to this session on restful sleep. Some of you may have joined us earlier today, while some of you, you're just coming in for the first time. So whatever it is, this is exploring the notion that good sleep starts the moment that you wake up. So in this 60-minute workshop, you will explore what's affecting your ability to fall and stay asleep at night. So I'll be hosting you today, so if you do have any tech questions, feel free to private message me. And we'd love it if people had their cameras on. So we understand sometimes it's not possible, but it provides a lot of feedback from Maša to see how things are landing, and also an added element of safety, just to make sure everyone's doing okay with stuff as well. So if you're like cooking, or you're like just getting ready, or you're walking or something, it's still okay to have your camera on. It still gives some sort of feedback. We welcome all of that. We don't mind. We know that you're actually human. So on that as well, you may choose to have headphones if you want to keep things sort of confidential or away from kids, or in case there's any language that may be offensive. That's just lovely. There probably won't be, but just in case. And please be aware that this is being recorded if you are invited to speak. So if you do raise your hand, if Maša invites that, it is being recorded. And we invite you to invite any friends to this event. So replays will be available for 48 hours, so they can register and be sent those, and that's also useful for you as well, I guess. So I'll pop some links there. Zoom link you can share straight to friends if they want to come along right now, or get them to register, or if you didn't register and you want to get an email with the replays, feel free to register there as well. All right, so essentially this workshop's for people who have difficulty getting to sleep, they have disturbed sleep, they wake up feeling tired, they don't have enough energy to do what they like. They can be like irritable in relationships or struggle with joy, creativity, anything. I think anyone can benefit from a bit better sleep. So this is really an introduction to Maša's course, 21 Days to Restful Sleep. Just give you a little bit of an idea of what's coming up. I'll play that quickly.
Do you struggle with falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up feeling energized? Welcome to the 21 Days to Better Sleep course. We're going to be looking at all of the deeper psychological reasons of why you're not getting good sleep. Good sleep isn't created by those things that you do in the last maybe hour or two before bedtime, but good sleep starts the moment you wake up. This course is for you if you are having trouble falling or staying asleep, or if you have trouble to wake up refreshed and energized. This course is also for you if, because of your lack of sleep, you experience poor quality relationships and a loss of creativity. So join me for this course and forge your own path towards restful sleep.
There we go. So if you'd really like to optimize your day for a better night's sleep, you can get the Restful Sleep 21-day course to feel happy, productive, and alive each day. And I'll introduce Maša now as well, so that you actually know who she is if you haven't had the pleasure so far. So Maša is an embodied facilitator, she's a sleep coach, she's a movement teacher who helps people like you to get restorative sleep that they want and need in order to live happier, healthier lives. She's also the sleep sensei at Embodiment Unlimited, a term she hates, I think. But yeah, she's walked the path of truly restful sleep herself and knows that it begins with taking a good embodied look at your habits, your beliefs, and just your lives in general. So from there, you can kind of discover which practices will be useful to you to rewire your brain and make these changes in the areas that give you the best chance of getting a deep enough restorative sleep. She's also just an awesome, joyful human who has a lot of wisdom about a lot of areas. So Maša, let's get things rolling.
Thank you, Steve, and thank all of you for coming here. I just want to put the gallery view back on so that I see you. Great, so thank you for devoting this next hour of your day to learning something new and hopefully gaining a new perspective on sleep health. So let me start off by saying what this webinar is and what it isn't. So my vision for this webinar is that it's an embodied journey through your day. So from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed. In a playful way, we will explore how you currently structure your day, what you choose to interact with, and how those choices affect your ability to fall and stay asleep at night. Now, sleep health is often something that we only think of at 2 a.m. when we are already riddled with insomnia. And we become oblivious to the fact that we have spent a good portion of our waking hours or wakeful hours priming our nervous system for restlessness and for agitation. And precisely in those moments of insomnia in the middle of the night or right before going to bed, we reach for quick fixes such as melatonin pills, maybe a nightcap or lavender oil. But in these things, I don't mean to demonize these things at all. They have their place, but more often than not, these things do little to no good. And often the damage of our stressful lives is already done. So this webinar aims to shine a light on the fact that good quality sleep is formed by how we interact with the world in our wakeful state. So to repeat the tagline of my course and my work, good sleep starts the moment that you wake up. And more concretely, it starts with the routine or ritual that you set up for yourself in the morning. Good sleep is defined by your ability to manage stress during the day. It's defined by your quality of relationships and also the boundaries you set for your peace of mind. Another tagline I like is that good sleep is a skill, and hopefully today is your first day in starting to learn this skill. This webinar, what it isn't, is we will not be talking about sleep hacks, so to say. For example, what to do about coffee, what to do about alcohol, or the lighting in your space. I can give you good resources on where you can read up on that. Today, we will be talking more about the behavioral side of your day that forms and informs your sleep. And as for methods, we will be using the next hour to explore the concept of cycles. We will be using the method of centering and awareness and choice. But you don't need to know what all of these things are. You will experience them in this next hour. But before we begin, I would really love to hear a little bit from you in the chat. So please write, what is your usual struggle with sleep? Do you struggle staying asleep, falling asleep, waking up? What is your usual struggle? Just write shortly in the chat so that we see what this particular group is dealing with. Waking up rested, staying up far too late, very common. Superficial sleep. Waking up feeling still tired, yeah. Okay, so I see that it's quite varied in this group. So we have both waking up and falling asleep that are difficult. Everything that we will be discussing can be applied to basically all of these issues. Great, being tired in the day. And what have you already tried as far as these quick fixes to insomnia? So have you tried already things like melatonin pills, maybe weighted blankets, things like this? Meditation, what soundscapes, anything you've tried already, please write it in the chat. And also say if it has helped or not. Maybe you can even show with your with your hand. Like if it's been really helpful, keep your hand up here. If it's like so-so, somewhere here, and not at all, keep your hand down. I'm just going to flip through the screen. Great. I see a lot of you have tried melatonin, meditations. Great. All of these, so to speak, quick fixes have their own place, right? And for some people, they help a lot. For some people, they don't. But the premise of this course is that a lot of the issues that people face with sleep deprivation is based on our way of managing anxiety in our life. So that's what we will address today, and how we form our habits. Wonderful. Okay, so I want to start off by introducing the concept of cycles. So everything that we do during the day and everything in nature has a cycle, right? Everything has a start, a doing, an ending, and an end. And we know this with our day, right? Our 24-hour cycle has its own beginning, middle or peak, ending, and an end. So does the year, so does every action that we take. So my aim is to take you through the journey of your day with cycles in mind. And we will do that by thinking of the day as seasons. So the spring of your day would be your morning. That would be your morning routine, the start of your day. The summer would be the peak of your day, your midday madness. Your autumn would be your time that you use for winding down before sleep, and your winter would be sleep. So that's the concept I ask you to hold lightly in your mind. And let me just tell you what this next set of exercises that I will propose to you, what they will look like. So in a moment, I will be taking you through your morning routine and how it looks like. And I will be asking you to move in certain ways. But I realize that not all of you are in a space where you might be able to move. Maybe you're in a car or in a public library or wherever. So even if you can't move, simply listen in and try to imagine the things that I will be leading you through. I will not be basically showing any of the movements. I will be guiding you, and you will be doing the imaginary movements yourself. And since we will be exploring your morning routine, it'll require a little bit of role play. So you'll have to imagine yourself reenacting your morning and kind of exaggerating it a bit. Everything is up to you. So if you do not want to do something, feel free to not do it and just listen and imagine. Can I get a thumbs up if that's clear? Okay, great. So let's start with the spring of your day. So if you have space around you, I invite you to either lie down on the floor or on a couch, bed. But if you cannot lie down, simply stay sitting in your seat and maybe just lean back on your chair. And if you can't even do that, that's fine. Simply imagine what I'm saying. I'll give you a moment to settle wherever you are. Those of you that are coming down on the ground, I'll give you just a second. Now, I want you to imagine that right now, as you're sitting or lying down, that this is the moment that you wake up. So whether you're waking up naturally, or maybe you have an alarm clock that is waking you up, I want you to start moving in the way that you normally wake up. Meaning, if you jolt yourself out of bed, start moving with more energy. If you are very slow to get out of bed or to wake up or to start your day, then reenact that. Great, I see some of you are getting into it. And I want you to imagine those first actions and steps that you do in your day when you wake up. And I want you to reenact them even if you don't have the particular objects with you. So for example, if you are prone to taking your phone directly with you to bed, take it. If you are prone to jumping out of bed and going for your laptop to check your emails, do that. And really reenact the quality with which you wake up. All of its good elements, all of its not so good elements, and just see how it makes you feel. Is this how you want to be spending your morning? Just going to flip through the screen to see what people's mornings look like. And also try to remember what it feels like for you from the inside. Are you happy and energized? Are you feeling low? And enact that in your body. If you're feeling maybe closed up and want more introverted space, then close up your shoulders, maybe looking down. But if you feel very extroverted and want to engage with the world, then feel free to do so. Maybe interact with somebody on the screen. Great. All right. And let go of that for a moment. And I invite you, if you have a piece of paper with you or close to you, just write down those first thoughts and images that came up. So what have you noticed about what you habitually do when you wake up? What is your energy level? What are the things or objects or actions that you interact with? And how satisfied are you on a scale of 1 to 10 with what you currently do in your morning routine? 10 being, I'm super satisfied, 1 being, it really sucks. Maybe you can even write in the chat, how satisfied are you from 1 to 10 with what you are already doing? It can vary a lot. 5, 1, 4, 8. We have everything on the spectrum here. That's all okay. Just to see, it's good to know this is what we start off with. We start off with awareness, and only then, when we accept what we're already doing, we can change it. 7.43, that was very specific. Great. Okay. Now, especially if you didn't like it, then shake that off. And you're going to now do the same thing. So if you were lying on the ground, please lie back down on the ground. If you were sitting back in your seat, feel free to do so. And now I want you to reenact the morning that you would like to have. So reenact everything from the way that you get up or the way with which you engage first with the world. What are the objects that you touch? Who are the people that you choose to interact with? What facial expression do you have? I'm seeing quite different experiences now on the screen. And think about it also from the point of view of practical things. So we all know that we want to be happier and that we want to wake up feeling fully energized. But what objects in your space or what actions in your space could you do that you know instinctively could make your morning routine much more beautiful, much more valuable for you? Some of you are very energized. Some of you are doing self-care. I see it's very, very personal. A longer dog walk in the morning, not looking at my phone, says Maha. Stretches, movement, walk. And just notice how reenacting this ideal morning, how it makes you feel and what images it brings up. And if you would like, take a moment to journal if you have a piece of paper, just to note down, to keep it fresh for yourself when you want to reflect back on it. Lucy says being outside, great. And note down what are the elements of this ideal morning. whether it's meditation, going outside, walking your dog, stretching. What are the habits that you could potentially introduce into your day? Great. Looking out the window, making love, yes, yoga. Great. Having slept better, yes. Yes, of course. We'll get to, towards the end of the webinar, I'll give you also an emergency measure which might help you actually in the middle of the night. Watering your flowers first thing, wonderful. Okay, great. So a lot of you have already noted some very specific actions that you might like to introduce into your day to make your morning routine more meaningful, and which you know might potentially improve the quality of your sleep the next day. Now, we all know that knowing what we want to introduce is not enough to actually make a habit stick. So I want to introduce to you a concept that is called building a habit sandwich. And this is a so-called mind trick that is done in behavioral science in order to trick our dopamine-seeking brains into taking on a new activity, something that is not yet habitual to us. And here is the trick. So a lot of you have mentioned that you would like to do meditation. I'll use that as an example. So often when people want to start to meditate, they have a concept that they need to every day wake up and sit for 20 minutes and hope that they're doing meditation right. And for the most part, people, when they start meditating, they meditate for 5 days and then the habit goes out the window. Why? Because it's too big of a chunk to take on. 20 minutes is often way too many steps ahead in order for you, your brain, your body, your embodiments to adopt it. So the trick is to cut it up into bite-sized moments, things that are more easy to do. So instead of meditating 20 minutes, you meditate for 5 minutes in the beginning. Now, here's the trick, the habit sandwich trick. The trick is to place the habit that you want to introduce between a neutral habit that you do every day. So something that doesn't have a lot of emotional baggage to it, and following it up with a rewarding habit, something that sparks your hedonistic, that has this hedonistic spark to it. And again, with the example of meditation, this could be, for example, your neutral habit could be simply waking up. Thank God we all still do it. We still wake up every day. You wake up and then you go into the kitchen to meditate standing up for 5 minutes. And you immediately after that reward yourself, for example, with a cup of coffee, if this is something you enjoy, or I don't know, fruit or whatever it is that sparks your taste buds, something that gives you a bit of a jolt of hedonism. So that's the idea behind the habit sandwich. Now I want you to think a bit and write down for yourself and in the chat, what could your potential habit sandwich be? How could you cut up that action that you want to introduce into your day? And where would you place it? And how would you reward yourself? Think about it a bit. You might get inspiration from the other people who are writing in the chat. Let's hear some examples. Okay, so Una says, bright mind meditation while I'm still in bed, then walk the dogs while cooking cacao. That sounds very hedonistic to me. I'm loving it already. I would love to be part of that ritual. Okay, Ali says brushing the teeth. Yes, that's very neutral. Go for a walk around the pond. Wonderful. And then upon finishing that, eat fresh picked organic fruit. Yummy. Okay. Go outside with my coffee, then stretching. There you go. So Lisa is already leveling it up and making and stacking her habits, making it into a routine, which is what we'll get to in a moment. Great, you guys are getting this so well. And this is a technique that you can use for anything. So you can use it even for breaking bad habits. So let me give you an example. If one of your bad habits is to take your phone with you to the bedroom, an idea would be to you don't need to completely get rid of your phone, right? You still need it to live sometimes and to function and to get your, I don't know, work done. But one way of making this into a habit is, for example, in the evening, after taking a shower, let's say that that's the neutral habit, you either place the phone, if you live in a house, you place it in another room, or you give it to a loved one and tell them to not give it to you until the morning. And afterwards, it's really important that you reward yourself with something that you like. Yeah, Maša says, yes, you can leave my phone outside. Yes, great. Okay, can I see from some sort of movement on the screen if this is resonating with you, if you're finding this useful? Are you finding some habit sandwiches? Great, okay. All right, great. Lisa says, put airplane mode on at night. Wonderful. Okay, so when we talk about habits, habits are nothing more than behaviors that are already embedded in our system. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to embed and embody. Routines, on the other hand, are a set of habits, a cluster of habits. But we can also think one level up and talk about creating a morning ritual. Now, what's the difference? I'll actually ask you, what do you think is a difference between a routine and a ritual? Just instinctively, there's no wrong answer here. Awareness, intention, yes, Helen. Ritual has a more personal meaning. That's exactly it. A ritual is more ceremonial. Precisely that. So a routine becomes a ritual when there's a meaningful element to it, maybe even a sacred element, dare I say that? Yes, and Inez as well said it. So a routine becomes a ritual when we understand why we want to introduce the habits that we want to introduce. So I want you to think, those habits that you want to introduce into your morning or into your day, why do you want to do them? How will your life significantly change for the better if you introduce them? Think about it for a bit, journal if you like, write in the chat. And while you think about that, I'll just give you an example. Somebody, for example, that wants, this has not much to do with sleep, or it could have, but somebody that wants to lose weight isn't just losing weight to be thin. Somebody that's losing weight could be losing weight in order to be healthier and to live longer for their grandchildren, or to be able to pick up their child from the floor. It doesn't matter. So there's always a deeper, more meaningful element to the choices that we want to make for ourselves. Okay, so let me see what you wrote. My habit brings more intention into my day. Great. And Jody, you can go even deeper. What would more intention in your day, how would it improve the quality of your life, your relationships, your parenting? To have purpose, calmer, how would you be a better person, in other words? So this is something that you can come back to any time that you feel like you're not following through with the habits that you want to introduce into your day. Come back to the why, and you'll quickly come back to your purpose, as somebody wrote. Great. Okay. All right, so let's shake that off for a moment. If you're done writing, we've gone a little bit into the depth of your purpose and your life. Now, we've done the spring of the day. Let's move on into the summer of the day. So the summer of the day would be the midday madness. It would be all of the hustle and the bustle of the middle of the day where you're either working or you're with kids or you're doing errands, all of the obligations when they peak in the middle of the day. I invite you, if you're standing and if you have space to move, to stand up. If you can't and you're sitting, that's fine. You can still move in your chair. And now I invite you to reenact in your space, what is the quality and the energy with your midday, I'm sorry. Meaning if you're buzzing all over the place and going for and doing different obligations and jobs and errands, then move around a little bit more frantically. If you feel sluggish in the middle of the day, then do that. Be sluggish with the shoulders down, looking down. Even better if you have another person in your space, then you can use them to interact with them in the slightly comical way of how your midday is. I'm just going to flip through the screen to see what your neurotic midday looks like. So Marianne is typing. Great. And also use this opportunity to also see how you are in relationship, meaning in the middle of the day, do you choose to be more introverted and not you don't really feel like engaging with people, then turn yourself away from the screen. But if you feel very like you're with a lot of people, then go to the screen and engage with somebody. Hi, Esther. Great. Okay. And now, from this midday madness that you're already experiencing, start moving in the way how you would like your midday to look like. So how would you like your midday to look like? So would you like it to be more slow? Would you like it to be more engaged with the world, with somebody? Would you like to be more introverted? Use the moments to tap into your breath and your belly and just see how would you like, ideally, your midday to look like. Would you like to be more down regulated, more calm, or more up regulated? I'm just going to flip through the screen to see what these ideal middays look like. Oh, they're much more calm, much more centered. Great. All right. So feel free to come back to the screen and take a moment, if you like, you can note down what is the discrepancy, what is the difference between that midday that you experience and the midday that you would like to experience. What is the difference between these two energies or these two ways of being? Stuck versus flowing, says Lisa. Breath holding versus easy breathing, great. These are all wonderful things to notice. Great. Jittery versus focus, hectic versus flow. So the question is, how do we shift from one to the other? So you don't need to completely change your life or leave your job or, stop engaging with the people that you interact with. You don't need to drastically change your life to shift your state. So this is the next tool that I want to show you, which is centering. And a lot of you, especially if you're in these embodiment events a lot, you've probably tried them out, but maybe you haven't thought about them in this context. So what I've seen on the screen is a lot of you, when you are in your midday madness, you're very hectic all over the place. In that case, you might need a little bit more down regulating, so more calming, something more grounded, something more soft. And some of you were a bit more sluggish and slow and would like to be more energized. And this is exactly when you need up regulating. So I will now show you two types of centering, which are super easy to do, and you can do them anywhere. And this will be something that you can put in your toolbox and play with in the upcoming days and see if it shifts your energy and your state. So if you can stand up, please stand up. If you cannot, you can do this completely fine sitting down or lying down. And let's start with down regulating. So this is a centering exercise that you can do whenever you want to be more calm, more grounded, and just need a moment for yourself to recollect before you re-engage with the world. So whatever it is, whatever position you're in, take a moment to feel the contact of your body with the floor or with the chair or the surface that you are on. So if you're sitting, then feel the sitting bones. If you're standing, feel the feet. If you're lying, feel the fullness of the back on the ground. And keep your eyes, please, open because we still want to be able to do this in the middle of the day. Take a moment to notice what is the quality of the relaxedness in your belly, in the chest, in the fingers. And take a couple of inhales. And with every inhale, grow a little bit taller, as if your spine is getting taller. And with every exhale, relax the front side of you. So relaxing the jaw, the belly, the pelvis, maybe the fingers. And do this a couple of times. So with every inhale, growing taller on the back. And every exhale, relaxing the front side of you, the tongue in your mouth, widening your peripheral vision, relaxing the lower belly. Keep your eyes open and do a couple more breaths. Maybe you can even imagine that there is a kind person standing beside you and they have their hand gently on your upper back, bringing a little bit of social centering, social support. Oh, okay. Great. Now let's shift towards up regulating. So you're going to be using this in cases where you feel like you're sluggish, where you can't focus, where your mind feels a little bit blurry, and you want to be more energized. So for this one, if you are standing, you can stand with your feet slightly wider apart, so no longer hip distance. It doesn't matter that you don't see my feet. And here, I want you to bring your chest more open. And if it's comfortable, extending your arms up with the fingers open. If it's not, you can simply keep them by your side or wherever is comfortable. And here, take a deep inhale. Exhale loudly out of your mouth. And do this a couple of times. You can even do it actively by first starting with the hands on the chest and And do this a couple of times. You can even, I have my mic here, so I'll be gentle, but you can even tap on your chest, on your arms, on the side body, back body, down your legs. And again, arms up. Maybe looking into the screen if you have people here around you, just making a bit of eye contact so that you remind yourself that you're alive, you're here. Great. Ooh. All right. And please just write in the chat which one of these two, the down regulating or the up regulating, which one of these two do you need more in this moment now? Which one served you more? Up, up, up. Very often in these Zoom webinars, I get the answer up. I wonder if it's me and what energy I'm giving you before, or is it just the Zoom, you know, that we want to be more energized, we want to be more active. Great, right now down, okay. All right, so you now have these two tools, which I invite you to use anytime in your day. Maybe even make little alarms on your phone to remind yourself. Just write centering and see which one of these two tools you need in any moment and use it. And just see, I'm not telling you that your life will change. Practice and see, and then report to me, however, find me somehow and tell me, has your day and your state changed? Now, I have a question for you before we move on towards the autumn of our day. My question is, how would being more grounded or more centered, whether it's more alive or more calm, how would it affect your day? And ultimately, how would it affect your sleep? Just please write for yourself, and also in the chat if you wish. It's also nice for the group to see. Sandra says, it amazed me how different the upregulating made me feel. Feel more open, alive, positive, more patient with others. Lisa, that's a really, really good point. So we haven't really touched upon it, but being sleep deprived, often the first thing that goes out the window is our ability to have patience and tolerance for others. We get very irritable for the most part. So that's a very good point. So Melissa, the question was, how would centering, so whether using up regulation or down regulation, how would it affect your day? How would it improve your day? What benefits could it bring? And how would it affect your sleep? Yes, so a question from Joe is the upregulating good at this time of the day, which is 6:30 p.m. for you? Yes, so as long as you're not doing this directly before sleep, you're good to go. So if this is something that you feel like you need, go for it. You won't go wrong with this. You won't have lasting effects. The only thing that I would advise against is exercising strongly right before going to bed. This will keep your system very wired before bedtime. So Shanti says that by being more motivated and focused, I would feel less stuck and less in my head at night and sleep. Yes. Combating Zoom fatigue. Wonderful. All of these things that you write are just very, very inspiring. Oh, great. All right. So let's shake that off if you feel like you have still something stuck. Whew. Okay. Let's move on towards the autumn of your day. The autumn of your day would be the time of the day when you're winding down towards sleep. Now, I have a question for you. How long is your autumn? And what I mean by that is, what is the time frame between the moment when you let go of your obligations, like your job, taking care of the most part of your family, and what is the time frame between that ending and you going to sleep? How much time do you give yourself for winding down? The question is including or excluding TV time. Depends on whether you want to include that in your winding down. Do you think it serves you or not is a question only you can answer. Esther says sometimes 30 minutes or less, 20 minutes. Some of you say 5 hours. Some of you might have autumns that go way too long and that span into your winter, that take away from your sleep time. Just notice that. 1 hour, yeah. As long as it takes to brush my teeth. Great. So this is definitely not to shame you. This is just to shine a light on what you already do, to see how much time you devote to maybe the summer of your day, which could be the big portion of your day, and how little time we actually give to autumn. Now, I want you to also think, what are some of the unhelpful elements and actions that creep up into your autumn time that you know are dysregulating for your sleep? And a lot of you are showing me the phone. TV, technology, Great, yeah. Work, the news, spending time overthinking. Ilyana, we'll talk about that in a moment. I'll give you a tool for the monkey mind. Late news. So this is so common. Every time I ask this question, the most frequent thing that comes up is phone, TV, news, and ruminating. So chewing up constant thoughts, looping thoughts in the head. Great. So I'm not going to give you any new tool for this autumn, but I want you to think of that habit sandwich that we did in the beginning. Whether you want to introduce a new habit or take out a bad one, so to speak, one that doesn't serve you anymore, you can apply that same habit sandwich. And I gave you already an example. So if you want to get rid of your phone, you can add a very specific time in your day, leave it in another room, or give it to somebody and reward yourself for it. So it doesn't feel like something that you're depriving yourself of. So take a moment just to write for yourself. What are those elements that you know you would like to get rid of? But also, how long would you like your ideal autumn to be? And be realistic here. Take into account also if you have kids, sometimes you just can't. So write it down. If you feel, write it down in the chat as well. Ideal autumn, 2 hours. So this is going to be shaped exclusively by you and by your life and by your obligations, and you know best what your life looks like. But if we were to look at the books on sleep health, and I'll give you actually a recommendation of 2 books which I love. The recommended minimum time is 90 minutes, at least 90 minutes between starting to wind down and falling asleep. Great. Okay. And now for those of you that have mentioned that you often ruminate in the middle of the night, I want to give you an exercise that is taken from the Feldenkrais method. And you don't need to know what that is. I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner. And it's a wonderful tool that you can, first of all, you can practice it during the day whenever you want to feel more calm and relaxed. But it is also something you can do right before going to bed and in the middle of the night when you wake up and you want to fall back asleep. And this is something, it's called the main squeeze, and it is a part of a toolbox of movement and breath exercises that I offer in the course, 21 Days to Better Sleep. So I'm giving you one now, but if you want more, of course, you can get it in the course as well. So are you ready to try out a little exercise? It's going to be very simple. It's going to be based on tactile squeezing and breath. And we're going to take just a few minutes to do this. Can I get a thumbs up if you're willing to try it out? If not, you can just listen in. Great. I'm just seeing how you are. Okay. So for this next exercise, if you are driving, please don't do it. Please, you can watch the replay for 48 hours. So if you're driving or if you're in a space where you still need to be alert and present, then stay alert and present. But for those of you that can, either lie down or stay sitting so that you can follow this next couple of minutes of exercise. So the exercise main squeeze starts off with a very strange hand position, and it looks like this. So you will be crossing your right thumb, and it doesn't, when you do this, it doesn't matter which thumb you do, but I'll just show so that we're synchronized. Right thumb over the left, and now you catch the right thumb with your left fingers. And now you extend the left index finger, and you catch that left index finger with your right fingers. So now the right thumb is caught by the left fingers and the left index finger is caught by the right fingers. And now this concoction that you made, you're going to lightly place it on your belly or on your lap, having the elbows be soft, shoulders soft. And take a moment to close your eyes. And you don't need to do anything in particular other than just take a moment to notice the feel of the touch of your fingers around the index and the thumb. Take a moment to notice your breath, not changing anything, just following it as an observer. And as you breathe, on your next inhale, you're going to give a light squeeze on the index finger. And on an exhale, release that squeeze. And keep repeating that. Inhale, lightly, ever so gently squeeze the index finger. And exhale, release. And keep pairing your breath with the very gentle squeeze of the finger. And make the squeeze and the release equally long as your inhale and exhale. And then on your next inhale, you're going to move on to the thumb that you're holding. So every inhale, gently squeeze the thumb. And exhale, release the squeeze. Inhale, squeeze very gently, as if you're almost imperceptibly feeling the touch. And release. And you can even alternate. So on one inhale, squeezing the index finger and letting it go. And next inhale, squeezing the thumb and letting it go. And then still keeping your eyes closed, you're going to very, very slowly start unfurling your fingers away from each other, but do this so slowly so that you really feel the quality of the touch as the fingers release and move away from each other. And once your fingers are released, open up your eyes and come back to the screen. I got myself all relaxed. So this is an exercise that I encourage you to do before bedtime, but this is definitely something that you can do in the middle of the night when you wake up, whenever you struggle with sleeping. Most probably, you don't even need to do the full thing. Most probably you will drift off to sleep somewhere around the squeezing of the thumb. But you can experiment, make this as long as you like, alternate the fingers if you like. Kunal asks, yes, I will repeat the hand position, but you can also find the video to this, even if you will find it in the 21 Days to Better Sleep, but also you will find it on my Facebook and Instagram, which is restfulsleep.eu. Great. So I want you to write in the chat how, yeah, I will repeat the hand gesture. As you write in the chat, how was this for you? How did this feel for you? Do you think that this is something that you could use in the middle of the night? And I'll repeat the hand gesture. So it's right thumb over the left, and then the left fingers catch the right thumb, You extend the index finger and catch that index finger with the other fingers. Okay. You would use it, wonderful, relaxing, great. Great. Oh, wonderful. I hope I gave you a tool that you can actively use. So I'm just going to conclude the webinar and tell you what we've gone through. Hopefully I gave you a new perspective on how you can start looking at the cyclical patterns of the day and your own energy levels. We started to play with the idea of making bite-sized habits and making those habit sandwiches, which you can start playing with already today and seeing what comes up, start experimenting with it. I gave you 2 centering techniques, so down regulating and up regulating, and you now have the main squeeze exercise. And that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed. I will give the word to Steve for a moment so that he tells you a little bit about the course if you want to dive deeper into it. And I will give you the 2 books at the end so that you have a recommendation.
Perfect. Thanks you, Maša. Yeah, so we'll throw back to Maša at the end for a top tip, and she's going to put in there those books as well. So we'll be back there in 1 second. So just to wrap things up, as Maša's just sort of alluded to there, but anyway, please do type in your top tips, your top takeaways, what you loved about this session, what you loved about Maša. It's helpful for you and it's helpful for us, so to know what you can actually take from this to input into your life and make it a little bit better. On that as well, replays from these sessions will be available for 48 hours. So you can think of a friend who would benefit from better sleep and invite them to register so they can come and see the replay. And also, if you don't get emails from us, you may also want to do that as well. So you can register here, and I'll just put it in the chat, and then you can get those replays from us by email. So I do encourage that if you want to get a friend along or something like that. Now, if you would like to actually deepen your rest practices, sorry, I'm copying this link. So if you would like to deepen your rest practices, Maša's 21 Days to Better Sleep program is for you. So it is self-paced and it's suitable for a busy schedule. So you'll get to explore different areas of your life, identifying those things that cause poor sleep. So the 3 weeks will guide you through embodied explorations and simple exercises to help build into your routine. So if you want to sleep and feel better, if you would like to feel more productive, energized, confident during your day, or enhance your mood, be more patient with loved ones, you can do that through this course. So I'll bring it up here on the screen as well so that you can see. So Maša's alluded to this a little bit, but in the course there are 2 days which are focused just on sort of exercise per week. So there'll be 6 exercises in total throughout the 3 weeks, and then each day explores different sort of areas as well. And so you can see here day 1 going down, and this is the first week, then going to the 2nd week and continuing on into the 3rd week. So each video is kind of a bite-sized daily video guide. So there's gentle movement-based exercises. There's a progress journal to reflect on after every session. So you get that within every package. So note that the early bird offer does end on Saturday. If you would like to get whichever package it is that you prefer, you can see here how it's laid out. You have a sleep journal, the days, and each one actually opens up sort of one at a time. So I know I do, I'm not sure about anyone else, has a tendency to like binge watch a whole course. I'm just going to watch it all, but you don't actually get any of it. So the important thing is building those habits into your life. So it'll only open up one day at a time, which kind of helps with that. So the bonus sessions include like all the recordings from today's webinars. You get a centering ebook, which is by Mark, which goes really in depth into up regulation and down regulation centering, which is it's literally one of my favorite, most practical books I've ever come across. So you'll also get 60-minute demonstrations or some non-athletic poses to shift you from feeling kind of unsettled or anxious to put you in a more peaceful state for rest. And also the Seasons of the Body podcast. And Maša touched on the seasons a little bit today, like starting, doing, ending, and then done. So you get a podcast that goes right into that, as well as a few other bonuses. So if you'd like to sleep better, feel better in your life, have simple daily exercises to put your body in a better state for sleep. Obviously, not everything works for everyone, which is why it's useful to have these different things. It will also give you an embodied understanding of what positively and negatively impacts your life and your sleep. It will help you to feel more productive, energized and confident during the day, and it will lift your mood, help you be more patient with your loved ones. So in case anyone's wondering about this, the course starts as soon as you sign up. So it's a course which, as I said, will open day by day. And if you happen to miss a day, that doesn't matter. You can pick up exactly where you left off. It's not going to be like it moves on and you miss something. So every lesson is about 7 to 15 minutes. So it's pre-recorded, has practical advice, guidance, or the exercises. And in total, you would need to set aside about 30 minutes a day maximum. Some days will be less than that. Some will go up to there, just so that you can do everything required. That's watching the videos, exercising, reflecting, all of that. And you'll have the course content forever, or at least until the end of the interwebs. And so there's the 3 packages. As I said, early bird ends on Saturday. So if you would like to get that, there's the package that just includes the course. And so you have each of those little bits that we spoke about, or you can get some of the bigger packages. So there's the package which has more of the bonuses here. As you can see, you get the more poses to use from the EYP system and different podcast episodes, and also the everyday embodiment course, which is bloody brilliant and shows you how to bring embodiment into all throughout, permeating throughout your life. And of course, the big one here, which is only limited to the first 20 people. So if you would like personal coaching with Maša around this, a session on that, along with a whole heap of other bonuses, do get that one. And bear in mind that that is kind of only the first 20 people. So you need to be quicker on that one, I imagine. So yeah, early bird offer ends. Feel free to share this with your friends. As I said, obviously just today's webinars have given a whole heap. So if you can't afford the course, that's okay. You can obviously get stuff from these webinars and the replays. All right, I want to go back to Maša so she can have the final word and actually share some useful stuff for you to finish this with.
Great, thank you so much. I just want to also share the 2 books that I mentioned, because I find that they're very good if you want to dive deeper. One is, and I'll write it in the chat as well, one is Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep. And I'll write it as well. And the other one is Sean Stevenson, Sleep Better. This one is more with like sleep hacks, but both of them are quite good. And I will copy paste it in the chat as well. And as the end note, I just want to say, coming back to that catchphrase, good sleep starts the moment you wake up. So I hope that I gave you a new perspective on how you can start looking at your day and how you're structuring your day. And I hope you're going to use the tools and create a better set of habits for yourself and get restful sleep. That's it, everyone. I wish you, of course, a restful night, and hope to see you soon. I will ask Steve to allow everyone to unmute so that we can all say goodbye in our mother tongue.